Welcome back. Before we dive into our lesson, we are going to do a craft a little later on. So I want to kind of go through the supplies that you'll need. If you don't have any of them, use your creative thoughts. I'm sure you can find something that is close to what I'm using. First thing, a paper plate. A pair of scissors. Be careful with them. A glue stick or glue. Crayons, markers, or pencils. And there's 2 pieces of paper that you guys will print. If you can't print them, that's okay. You can draw them. That's the first one. The second one is Jesus, and you don't need 4 of them. You just need 1. All right, so I'm going to have you guys pause. You guys can run and grab those supplies and then come back. Welcome back, guys. Now we're going to recap what we learned last week. Last week, our Bible point was that Jesus stands up for God. So in return, we were going to stand up for God. And I've given you guys a 5-day challenge where you guys were to read stories from the Bible of where people also stood up for God. And I hope you guys were able to do that because there were some pretty neat stories in there. And this week is Easter. So I'm going to read a story to you guys from a book. But first, I want to give you guys today's Bible point. That is, God wins. What we're going to take away from it will be, so we have victory over sin and death. And now I'm going to read you guys a neat story. The story we're going to read today is What is Easter by Phil Vischer. So what is Easter? Marcy has a question. What is Easter? That's easy, said Buck Denver. Easter is eggs. Easter is bunnies. You're forgetting something, Buck, says the Sunday school teacher. Easter is all about Jesus. Marcy is confused. What do eggs and bunnies have to do with Jesus? Good question. Let's talk about winter, says the Sunday school lady. Now Buck is confused too. Winter? Yes, winter. Winter is cold. Trees don't have leaves in the winter. Birds don't lay eggs in the winter. Rabbits don't have baby rabbits in the winter. There's no new life in the winter. Then comes spring. Trees have leaves. Birds lay eggs. Rabbits have baby bunnies. Lots of baby bunnies. Spring is new life and Jesus is new life. Buck and Marcy are still confused. How is Jesus new life? Jesus said he was bringing new life, but then he died. He was buried in a tomb. There's no new life like it was in winter. But Jesus didn't stay dead. He came back to life. New life. That's right. Easter is a celebration of new life in Jesus. His new life when he rose again, and the new life he promises to all of us. Look how excited those bunnies are. I get it, says Buck. Eggs and bunnies remind us of new life. Right, Marcy jumps in happily, and Jesus brings new life, just like spring brings new life. So Easter is eggs, and Easter is bunnies. Because eggs and bunnies remind us of new life in Jesus. New life for all of us. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. John 10:10. Look at those bunnies jumping for joy. The end. All right, guys, so I'm going to go back to our Bible point. Our Bible point is God wins. Our takeaway is so we have victory over sin and death. Sin is disobedience against God. So a sin could be lying to your parents. Sin could be when your parents ask you to do something and you're not listening to them. Sin could be giving into anger and in return you do something that you regret. So my question for you is, how does that make you feel when you've done something wrong? I want you to discuss that with your family. So what's the sin or the wrong that you've been doing in your life that's winning right now? So we can feel like sin is winning in our lives, like the anger, the disobedience, whatever is happening, we feel like that's winning. But like we learned in our Bible point, because Jesus died on the cross and rose again, God wins. So we have victory over sin and death. I hope you guys were able to get your supplies from earlier, because now we're going to start our craft. The first thing we're going to do is get out your crayons, markers, or pencils, and we are going to color one Jesus in the tomb. Here are my colored pieces. Now we're moving on. You guys are going to now take your scissors, be careful, and you're gonna cut around your pieces. So here are my pieces. Now you're going to get your paper plate. You're going to fold it in half. Fold on the crease there. And you're going to take your scissors again and you're just going to cut up that line up the middle. So you have two pieces. Now take one half, kind of put the other one off to the side. You don't need that right now. Get your tomb that says he is risen. Put glue on the back of it. Mine's purple glue. And glue it along the curved edge right there so it will look like this right now. Okay, so now take your other half of the plate and I want you to put glue on the back of Jesus. And you're going to place him on your plate where the bottom of him is along the curve and his head is kind of up by the straight edge. You're just going to glue him just like that. Now you need your paper clip and you need your two sides. You're going to stack the tomb on top and Jesus is going to go underneath. So you'll kind of see his little hand up here. And in this corner, you're going to make a hole. Now, you might want your parents to do it because I don't want you guys to cut yourself. I kind of had to use the top of the scissor to do that because you're going to want it to go through both plates. So be very careful. I do not want you guys to cut yourselves. Okay, see my hole right there? Got a little hole, it goes through both plates. You're going to take your paper clip. This edge right here, this point, you're going to feed it through both of the holes. And then you're just going to kind of turn it to where it's holding both of them in place. And what's going to happen is in your craft, Jesus is going to rise out of the tomb. Pretty cool. He is risen. Yay! All right, guys, so I'm going to go back to our Bible point. Our Bible point is God wins. Our takeaway is so we have victory over sin and death. Guys, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. He is risen! Happy Easter!